If you've been scouring through magnetism videos and confidence videos, trying to figure out what skills you can acquire to become more charismatic so that you can then become more socially magnetic, I have good news for you. I don't think you need charisma in order to be magnetic. We're taught that magnetism means becoming more attractive or interesting or desirable or intelligent or confident or interesting. But what we call lack of confidence is actually just a lifetime of trying to minimize ourselves so that we can be liked. Magnetism isn't about becoming more appealing to other people and instead getting so familiar with who you are and living for you that you're no longer abandoning yourself to make sure that you are managing everyone else and their perception of you enough. Hello, my Wellish friend. I'm so excited you want to hang out today. And if you're a new friend, welcome to our cute little friend group of people that love self improvement, but don't love the rejection that comes with so much of it. We're really trying over here to feel good enough with ourselves and within our own lives without having to meet society's image of perfection. So, if that resonates with you and you think we're in alignment, you're going to want to subscribe. And I would so much appreciate it if you could rate, review, like, share the show. It really does help get episodes out to more like minded listeners like you and I who need to live a little bit more wellishly. So I've proposed this idea that you might not need more charisma. And I say that because we talk about magnetism like it's something you acquire. Better body, better clothes, better social skills, more confidence, more interesting stories, knowing exactly what to say. But I want you to think about the people that you find genuinely magnetic. Now, it's possible the first person that popped into your head is someone you've seen on social media or someone that you idolize. But think about real people that you know, people that you in your own personal life, you know one on one that are confident and magnetic in your opinion. Usually, there's a quality of self possession about them. They're not constantly checking the room to see who they should become, or seeing who they should appeal to, or seeing who they should be more like, or seeing who they should be worried about judging them. And the reason I say you don't need more charisma is because your problem probably isn't that you lack charisma. It's that you've spent so much time trying to make yourself disappear. Magnetism isn't becoming somebody that everybody likes and everybody wants to be around. It's being able to be yourself and be okay with other people getting to experience you and not needing to change who you are so that they have a certain kind of experience. By the end of this episode, you won't feel like you need to change everything about who you are anymore. You'll have a reframed point of view on what magnetism is and fully see that it's something that you are capable of being when you stop abandoning yourself. Let's start by talking about a very relevant sticking point that is very near and dear to my heart, and that is good girl syndrome. The good girl was trained to be liked. She wasn't trained to be herself and allow herself to be known and therefore allow herself to be perceived. She had to fit a certain criteria in order to make the other people around her comfortable. A lot of us learned really early on what being good meant. It was a list of things. It was being easygoing. It was being agreeable. It was being helpful, low maintenance, emotionally controlled, polite, accommodating, never making anyone uncomfortable. And obviously, those traits aren't bad. We want to be those things. It's something to be proud of being those things and things that you're allowed to like about yourself. Because if you've spent a lot of your life in this good girl role, it's likely that the muscles that you have for each of those personality traits are pretty fucking strong and they're probably not going to go away. I'm not saying to not be those things. I think that you can be proud of being those things because they're incredible qualities to have that truly not everybody has. There's these monsters out here in the world that don't have those things. So, like, we don't want to get rid of them. However, you also don't want to show up in a way that only is you being easy to consume. Let me give you an example. Like when you say, I don't care. but you actually do have a preference, or you're so used to saying, I don't care, that you don't know what your preference is. And if that's the case, you have to practice asking yourself what you would do if there was nobody there to make the decision for you, which is another example of this, letting everyone else decide what you do and just kind of going with the flow of everything else because you are letting everybody else be happy. And again, you might not feel like you are abandoning yourself in that way because you've been living like that for so long. I am someone who definitely identifies as just a go with the flow person that does, in fact, let everybody else decide. I don't pick the restaurants, I don't pick the itinerary, I don't pick the events that we go do. And I really am happy doing that, just following along and letting things go. But that's because I have really little to no practice being the person that is the one that makes the decision because I've spent so much time being agreeable that I have to now make a conscious effort to build that muscle and make decisions on my own. Another good example is laughing something off when someone says something that bothers you. God, the number of times that I've done something like that, that they say something weird or they say something inappropriate or they say something that hurts your feelings because they're just that kind of person. And I appreciate that kind of sarcastic, funny person, but they say something that actually bothers you and you just laugh it off and say nothing and just go with the flow of it. Or maybe you make your opinion smaller when somebody else disagrees with you. Like you state your opinion and then they have their opinion and then you're like, "Oh yeah, no, but I could totally see it that way because it makes sense to me now that you've said it that way and like now your opinion is changing." Like no. Or a really good one, I think of this specifically when it comes to dating, is that you're trying to seem chill when you're really not chill. Like you want to seem like you're like this cool girl that like doesn't give a fuck if they have another plan or they're talking to another girl or they let you know last minute that they can't hang out and you just want to be like, oh yeah, I had other things going on anyways. It doesn't make a difference to me whether or not you see me, but like really in reality you're actually really disappointed and hurt by the fact that they blew you off, which really coincides with another example that's just truly near and dear to my heart, and that's trying as hard as you can to be low maintenance because you believe that having needs makes you difficult, that if you have needs and you express those needs that you are being a burden on other people. And this is the mistake that I had been making for a really long time, is that you can become a very likable person, a very good, warm, fun to be around kind of a person that people also hardly know. And that is the opposite of magnetism. So that's one route. You make yourself smaller, you try to disappear and avoid, and then something happens that you feel misunderstood. So then let's go the other route with it. And that's when you over explain. And when you're over explaining, it's often an attempt to control how you're being perceived. This is huge. This is one of the most common fears that I really didn't realize. And I even didn't realize fear of perception was a thing until I literally remember February of 2025. I was literally like, oh, fear of perception. I've never heard of that before. But that takes all of my fears that I have, fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of abandonment, fear of being good enough, and just wraps them up into one perfect, pretty little bow, fear of perception. You say no to something and you provide six reasons why you have to say no and let them know that you really did want to come and you have to send a justification for why you're saying no. You can't just say no. Sorry, I can't make it. Oh my God. It's like we say that right now when we're together and we're in a clear mind, like, oh, I would be able to do something like that. But then the situation is presented in front of you and you literally can't do it. Or you change your mind. Let's say you say you're going to do one thing and you decide you're going to do something else. And again, you have to justify, justify, justify. You have to send this person a paragraph or speak out loud a paragraph or tell all of the friends or family in your life because you need any validation that you can get that you're still a good person. Someone misunderstands you and this desperate, frantic feeling washes over you that you have to do everything in your power to correct their perception of you. Like maybe they misunderstand you at a certain point in a conversation, and I'm guilty of this. Like I will circle back even after we've moved on in the conversation to make sure that they don't perceive me in the way that I think they're perceiving me and I can correct their perception. A very common one is that you state an opinion, but then you like soften it. You say, a statement and then you say, but I could be wrong, or but that's just me, or I totally understand the other side of that. Like your point of view totally makes sense too. Or another good one is like, sorry, I don't know if that made sense. I used to always end my sentences with I don't know. And I would always have, still do, hi, what's up? Yeah, I would have these rambling sentences because it's like I'm still trying to explain my point and I don't want to be misunderstood. So I ramble and ramble and ramble. It actually does take a lot of confidence to just say a sentence and stop and wait for the other person to respond. That is fear of perception. So you ramble, you ramble, you ramble. And then when I eventually did have to stop, I would end my sentence with, I don't know, every single time. And every time I did it, I like knew I wasn't supposed to do that, but I couldn't help it. And what's underneath all of that? It's that feeling that if I explain myself enough, you won't think badly of me, or you'll be okay with me, or you'll have the perception of me that I want you to have. But the truth is, magnetic people leave space for perception. Like they will end a sentence with a period and not ramble on forever and allow the other person to respond because you're allowing people to meet you halfway. Like you can't be magnetic if you never give the space to allow people to magnetize towards you. It's not about never explaining yourself because there's going to be situations in life that you just do that, It just makes the situation a little bit more comfortable and easier to navigate. I don't expect myself or anyone else to be able to perfectly construct a no. I can't do that. And that's it. And never be to your good friend that you do genuinely want to go to the thing. You're, of course, going to be like, oh, I wish I could make it. I'm sorry. I really can't. I've got stuff going on this weekend that I'm not able to do it. That's totally normal and a very regular way to handle the situation. It's being able to recognize when your explanation has turned into a defense for simply existing. Okay, so we've got good girl syndrome. Then we've got fear of perception and trying to over explain so that we can overcome that fear. That brings us to the issue of people pleasing. And people pleasing makes you hyper aware of everyone except for yourself. And it's funny because most of the people that people please, I even get flack for this online when I talk about it. People will comment and be irritated about it. But here's the truth, I'm going to say it. People pleasing is manipulation. People pleasing is manipulating reality. It's manipulating people's perception of you so that they like you. We think that we are being generous, and it often does look generous from the outside because you're not being an evil manipulator, manipulating them to do something that will eventually or immediately harm them. You're trying to make sure that they're happy and they have a good time and will sacrifice yourself in order to do it. But that is still the definition of manipulation. And you're preventing that person from making their own decision about you and make their own judgment calls of the people that they want to have in their life by manipulating their reality to make yourself seem more likable to them instead of just being yourself and allowing them to make the decision of if they like you or not. This is that voice inside of your head that you're constantly overanalyzing everything that you're doing. Am I talking too much? Am I being entertaining? Do they think I'm fun? Do they think I'm interesting? Was that impressive? Was that cool? Am I overextending? Am I being annoying? Did that make them mad? Do they think I'm weird? Oh, why did I say that awkward thing? I wish I could say something else instead. Your attention is constantly on everything else except your own experience. And when you do that, you have to flip the perspective. Instead of constantly asking yourself questions about yourself and being so self focused, turn your attention outward and experience them. Ask yourself if you like to be around these people or in this situation. How does this make you feel? Do you feel interested in what you're doing? What do you actually think about this situation or these people? I spent an entire 4 years in a relationship with someone that constantly was cheating on me and constantly treating me badly because I was always asking myself what I could do to make them like me more. What could I do that I could make myself more appealing so that he didn't want to be with everybody else? Instead of asking myself, do I want to be here? I've done the same thing with friends, trying to make myself dance and do whatever it is they wanted me to, instead of asking myself how I felt in those situations and if I actually felt welcomed and warm and accepted by these people. And honestly, it just makes the experience of being with people so much more enjoyable because you do know what to say and you are smart and you are a good person and you are fun to be around. So when you can just be fully focused on them and on your experience and whatever it is you're doing and be present in that moment and not be so trapped in your own head thinking about if you're showing up correctly, you can just live and be in that moment. It's this massive shift because you completely go from performing and trying to do everything right to actually like being you, like inhabiting who you are as a person. So, with each of those three things in mind, it's very easy to see why emotional safety can be so attractive. One of the most magnetic things about someone is when you feel like you don't have to manage them. People feel emotionally safe around people who can handle a disagreement without making you feel bad or without making you feel dumb or without invalidating what your experience or your perception or your feelings are. They don't punish people for having boundaries. In fact, they support you and love that you were honest with them. They don't require constant reassurance. They let you just be who you are and feel good in your connection, that you don't need to be validating that there is a connection all of the time. They can laugh at themselves or they can admit when they're wrong. They can take accountability. They don't turn an awkward moment into this catastrophe that they're bringing up all the time or making fun of you or trying to embarrass you about it. They actually make light of it and help you to move on. They don't make another person responsible for regulating their own self worth. And that connects directly to self trust because if you believe that even if the interaction you have is awkward and you'll be okay, you can relax a little bit more. You're like more free to just live and experience that moment and be yourself in that moment because you don't need to manage it in order to feel good about yourself. You get to this point that you don't need other people to like you. You'd like for other people to like you, but you don't need them to like you in order for you to feel okay inside of your own skin. You don't need to win people over and prove to them that you're enough. You get to actually experience them and be curious about them and be interested in them. And that's another big thing about magnetism too, is you want to make sure to be more interested than you are interesting. And when you can have that outward focus, that's that same concept again, that you get to have such a more relaxed, free, confident, magnetic interaction with them. Ironically, the less desperate you are to create connection and be validated by connections is the more you'll actually receive that validation and connection from other people. Something I feel like is very important is to bring in more real world examples because all of this stuff sounds great and it also sounds very no shit in a way. When we hear it in this setting, it clicks for us, it makes sense for us. But then we go out into the world and we follow those same patterns and we don't even realize that we're doing it. I mean, I will literally record an episode for you guys and talk about this kind of stuff. And then I will literally turn my camera off and pull my phone out to look at something and get socially anxious about whatever. And I'm like, oh, you're an idiot. Like literally right away. So we fall into these patterns so easily, even though we intellectually know what the right way to go about it is. We don't have the skill set yet. I call that the knowledge to skill gap, that there is a gap of space between what you know to be true and how you can actually show up in the world with that knowledge. So, I really want to help illustrate that shrinking doesn't just mean being quiet. And I want to give you some examples of what else shrinking looks like so that you can recognize this in your own daily life. And the first thing is pretending that you don't care about something that you actually love. Let me give you an example from my own life. I absolutely do this with the podcast that like I act like it's no big deal. I just will, I'm just doing this silly little thing. No big deal at all. But in reality, I love it here. I love you guys. I love the friendship that we have, but I downplay it because I don't want to be perceived. Another example would be toning down excitement, that something really great happens, but you don't want to draw attention to yourself or put the spotlight on you. So you tone it down. Or maybe you tone it down because you don't want to make other people feel bad or make other people upset. Maybe there's people that you love that are working towards the same thing and you achieve it first, or you achieve it in a grander way, and you don't want to upset anybody else. And so you just think it's better to say nothing at all. Changing your personality depending on who you're with. I definitely have been guilty of this. I still think I do it a little bit. I think there is a core version of who I am. And then there is the version of me that I am when I'm with you guys, when I'm alone, when I'm with my mom, when I'm with my dad, when I'm with my sister, when I'm with my friends, when I'm with my boyfriend. There's that same core person there at the heart of it. But with each of those people, there's something that's just a little bit different, which I think is totally normal. You have different relationships with those people and they're going to bring out different sides of you. But the issue is when you are being certain people with those people so that you are palatable for them. Maybe you act less intelligent so someone doesn't feel intimidated because you've been made to feel like a know it all, or you know that they feel bad about that. And so you want to not make them feel dumb. Maybe you hide your ambition because you don't want to seem full of yourself or seem silly for being ambitious about something that someone else might not believe in or see potential in. Pretending to not want commitment because you want to seem chill. Maybe you don't dress in the way that you want to dress because you're afraid of what dressing like that might mean about you or what attention that might draw to you. Maybe you just are pretty agreeable because disagreement feels confrontational and feels scary and feels like you're rejecting someone, and you're so scared of being rejected that you don't want to reject anybody else or their opinions or thoughts. Maybe you make self deprecating jokes so that you can joke about yourself and call out the things that you're afraid other people think of you before anybody else can have those opinions. It's like screaming from the rooftops that you're aware of those things already. So you can't judge me for those things because I'm aware of them, even though they can still judge you for those things. Or maybe you refuse to ask for what you need, that you feel in your soul that you want more from a certain situation, or you want someone to do something, or you want someone to show you that they appreciate you or they love you in a certain way, or you want someone to stop acting a certain way, or you would really love it if someone could help you with something, but you don't express it because you don't want to be a burden. You have to start noticing when you are changing your behavior or modifying your behavior because you are worried about what someone else's reaction to your behavior will be. Let's talk about how to stop abandoning yourself because it is one of the most powerful skills you will learn if you resonate with any of the stuff that we've been talking about. And I want to be completely clear, this is a process. You are not going to wake up tomorrow and just be completely authentic. Okay. I realized that I had spent my entire life abandoning myself about March of 2025. Okay. And I, again, spent my whole life that way. It was 26 years. I'm 28 right now. So I spent all of that time in this self abandonment that it's going to take a long time to rewire that. And that's why I'm telling you guys, like, areas that I still feel like I'm doing this, even though I know how to not, I intellectually know how to not. That doesn't mean that I always have the skill to follow through on it. So we've got to start small, and we're going to start with having a preference. I want you, when you're out in life, when you're in situations, whether you're alone or you're with other people, especially when you're with other people, is to start asking yourself what you want. You don't have to express that want yet. If that still seems scary and you don't know how to do that, don't do it. But ask yourself in your head to yourself what you would choose if you were alone. If your friends are deciding where to eat, ask yourself what you want. And I bet you, if you've spent a lot of time self abandoning, you don't even know. I bet you don't even know what preferences you have. And again, I've spent over a year practicing this and I still struggle to know all of the time what I want or what foods I really like. I mean, I know now, like I know your girl loves sushi. Your girl loves to eat a taco. Your girl loves some wings. So, like, if I'm by myself, I'm normally picking one of those things. So, if you can build the habit of asking yourself what you really want, what you feel happiest eating, what you feel happiest doing, what you feel happiest surrounding yourself with, that will help you build the skill of knowing for you to then start expressing. The other small place to start is letting a sentence end, like we were talking about earlier. Do not continue to ramble on forever. It takes true confidence to put a period on each sentence and allow people to perceive you and to respond to you however they're going to respond or react to you however they're going to react. But you have to build the skill of putting the period on the ends of your sentences. Whether it's you putting a period on saying no, like I can't make it tonight without a super long justification or a million reasons why, or letting them know that you so want to be there and you wish you could and let me know next time, and just putting a period on it. Or if it's just a regular sentence, you saying something in real life and sharing your opinion or your thoughts on something, that when you get to the end of the thought, stop the sentence and notice your discomfort. Notice that building urge that you have to justify or to explain further or to defend yourself afterwards. Okay, we're stepping it up. This is more level 2 stuff, okay? We're moving up the ladder a little bit. It's getting a little bit more difficult, but we're still starting small. Try to let someone disagree with you. Their disagreement does not require you to change your opinion. It does not require you to re advise how you feel or how you show up or any of the things. You can see their point of view. That's totally normal and great to see other people's point of view. You should see other people's point of view and not be rigid in your own beliefs, but keep your own opinion. You're allowed to keep your own opinion. And if they genuinely change your mind, great. But if they don't, own that. It's okay to not have the same opinion. It's okay for you guys to not agree on everything. And you're still allowed to be friends or be whatever with that person, still like each other, and not agree on absolutely everything. Which again sounds like no shit, duh. But we get into situations and we think that we have to agree on everything. Otherwise, the friendship could be in shambles. They could reject us. They could abandon us. All of those, I could be not good enough. All those wounds and fears start to come up when you're actually in the situation. And it might not be something that you're consciously thinking. It's these subconscious thoughts that are causing us to behave in ways that are in alignment with self abandonment. Keeping it at level 2, still a little bit difficult, okay? But we're starting small, but things are still, this is a little bit hard, okay? Let people perceive you without trying to correct them. Let them think you're dramatic. Let them think you're quiet. Let them think you're obnoxious. Let them think you're too ambitious or you're lazy. Let them misunderstand you. You cannot, I will not let you build your entire life around preventing perception. Okay, in level 3, we're still small, okay? These are not, I don't mean to put levels on them to say that like this is like crazy, but like this one's hard, especially if you've been self-abandoning for literally your entire life. But you have to practice letting yourself be seen. And that means that you have to put yourself in the position that people are going to perceive you. And you can't do anything about it. I'm holding your arms hostage and your mouth hostage. You're not allowed to do anything about it. Wear what you want to wear. Wear what you want to wear to a place that you think people might judge what you're wearing or might have an opinion about what you're wearing. And when you have that thought pop into your head, that's your sign to wear it anyways. That's you experimenting and trying to wear it anyways. And you could argue with me and say, oh, but I just want to be comfortable. But why do you think, oh, I want to wear this every single time you get ready to go out? Just wear it. And you're going to have to put yourself in an uncomfortable position to get closer to not abandoning yourself and actually wearing and living life how you want to live it. Say the thought, even if you don't think people will care, or you don't think people will receive it well, or you don't think people will agree with you, or you worry what someone might think of you if you have that certain thought. Just say it. If it's something that you feel strongly about, or if it's something that you don't feel strongly about, you just think and it popped into your head and you want to say it, just say it. Just say the thought. The world's not going to end. Ask the question. If you're standing there with somebody and they're saying something that you're curious about, don't feel like you're stupid or silly or are going to be laughed at because you ask a question, because you don't understand something, or because you want to know more about something. That feels vulnerable, that you care to know more about a certain thing or a certain person. But that's people love that. People want to be asked questions. They will like you more if you inquire more about them. Admit that you're excited about something or that you really enjoyed hanging out with someone or that you really love spending time with a certain person. You can say those things out loud and express that love out loud. It's okay to laugh louder than everybody in the group. Speaking from experience, you will survive. I have no control over it, but you will survive. People will make comments to you. People will be like, "Oh my god," but whatever. I don't care. It's my laugh, and I'm gonna just laugh. I'm not gonna suppress it and try to be like cute about it. If you want to take pictures of things and you want to take videos of things and you like that and that makes you happy, whether it's to post on social media or it's just to keep in your camera roll for the memories, do it. Don't let people make you feel bad about that. Tell someone what you actually want when you feel that feeling come up, when you recognize that you don't really like how something's going and you want to tell them how to make it better and what you really want. Tell them because if they are a person that genuinely loves you and wants to be around you, they will work with you on it. They might not just do it, but maybe you guys can come to an agreement, compromise about the certain thing, and have a better understanding of each other because you expressed that want. And if they don't do that and they don't follow through on what you need from them so that you can be happy and live your life with them, then that is a sign that you are not in alignment with them. And it's better to know sooner than later. And you're not doing these things because being louder and being in people's face is what makes you magnetic. Like it could seem that way that if you put yourself out there more, then you'll have more opportunity for people to attract back to you and be magnetic. But that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that if you do all of these things and you're not editing yourself and you're not manipulating how you show up in front of other people, you're giving yourself permission to exist. You're telling yourself that you love who you are and you believe in who you are and you have faith in who you are and how you'll show up. And you're not being another person, the most important voice of all of the voices in the entire world, telling you that you're not enough, that you're anything other than wonderful and worthy of speaking up and being yourself and showing yourself to the world. Magnetism is not transforming yourself into a person that everybody likes, is attracted to, wants to be around, wants to be friends with, wants to hire, wants to follow, wants to buy things from, wants to whatever from you. Magnetism is when you no longer abandon yourself, when you can just show up as you are and be unapologetically you. You don't need to be prettier or have a better wardrobe or go more places and do cooler things and hang out with cool people or be more impressive or entertaining or more confident or smarter. You don't need to do any of those things, but you do probably need less self surveillance. You need to perform less. You need to stop editing yourself so much. You need to stop manipulating the people around you by people pleasing. You need to stop trying to become someone who's impossible to reject and stop rejecting yourself. That's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening. If something resonated with you, which it obviously did because you're still here, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. It would be crazy if you haven't already because obviously we're in alignment. And make sure to share the show with someone that you think would also benefit from this message. Share it with a friend that you love absolutely everything about them and you want them to love everything about them too. Also, you guys should comment one thing that you're going to do to stop abandoning yourself, but something that you've been abandoning yourself over and what you're going to try to stop doing. Because if you guys comment, you might give other people ideas of what they can be better about not abandoning themselves about. And we could just help so many people and it would just be so great. And the people might not like the comment or respond to the comment, but you are helping more people than you know by just putting your thoughts and ideas out there. So please comment down below what you are going to stop abandoning yourself about. Okay, we're going to have a great week. I love you very much. It's going to be very good. We're going to be very magnetic. We're going to put a period on the end of our sentences and we're going to feel good about who we are going into this week and doing our best to show that person to the world without being terrified of what people's perceptions are going to be because you're great and I believe in you and I know that because you're Wellish. Am I rambling? Am I not putting a period on the end of my sentence? I gotta go. Okay, we gotta cut it. I love you. I hope you have a great week. I hope it's filled with alignment and growth and happiness and love and I will talk to you very soon. Bye.